Well, Buttercups, this is your opportunity to become a cosmic explorer, a story seeker, and maybe just a curious mind. Welcome to a special bonus episode, the hidden chamber of this podcast, where we unlock the extra mysteries, secret stories, and additional deep dives that didn't make it into the main episodes. Think of this as the after hours lounge of this podcast, where the conversation gets a little deeper, the theories a little wilder, and the secrets a lot juicier. So if you're here, congratulations. You've discovered the secret level of this podcast. Get comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive into something extra fascinating today. Imagine being born on a day when the fire of spring is at its most powerful, when the world is waking up and energy, ambition, and boldness surge through the cosmos. That is the energy of April 7th, and it belongs to one of the most fascinating personalities of the Zodiac, Aries. Now, Aries is the first sign of the Zodiac, the spark, the beginning, the moment life says, let's go. But people born on April 7th aren't just typical Aries. Oh no, not even close. People born on April 7th are among the most fascinating personalities in the Aries zodiac. They blend fiery ambition with intuitive intelligence, often becoming innovators, leaders, and creative pioneers. But beneath that bold Aries exterior, there's complexity, sensitivity, and a strategic mind many may never notice. Their ruling planet is the fiery red world of Mars, the ancient symbol of courage, passion, and unstoppable drive. But hidden beneath that fearless Aries exterior, there's something far more intriguing. Because April 7th carries the mystical vibration of the number 7. What happens when cosmic fire meets philosophical death? Today, we're diving into the secrets of April 7th birthdays. So, if you were born on April 7th, like your favorite tea bell, or if you know someone who was, you might be about to learn something extraordinary about them. Because in astrology, this isn't just another birthday. It's one of the zodiac's most intriguing combinations of fire, intellect, and destiny. And it all begins right now. So when astrologers describe Aries as a cardinal sign, they are talking about one of the three fundamental zodiac modes, a concept used in the academic field of astrology to describe how signs express their energy in the world. So the three modalities are cardinal, the initiators, fixed, the stabilizers, and mutable, the adapters. April 7th Aries belong to the cardinal fire archetype, meaning they are natural starters of action, movements, and ideas. What does cardinal really mean? The word cardinal comes from the Latin cardo, meaning hinge or pivot. Just like a door hinge allows movement, cardinal signs create motion in life. They are the people who start projects, launch movements, spark revolutions, and lead others into new directions. They don't wait for permission, they act first. Now, why is Aries the most explosive cardinal sign? Among the cardinal signs, Aries is the first of the entire zodiac. That gives it a very special symbolic role. It represents the first spark of life, the beginning of spring, the primal urge to exist and act. This energy is governed by the planet Mars, ancient Roman god of war. Because of this influence, Aries expresses cardinal energy through courage, competition, independence, and decisive action. Now, people with strong cardinal energy, especially Aries, often show fascinating psychological traits. So they tend to lead naturally in groups, take risks others hesitate to take, and become restless when things stagnate. They also feel driven to create change. In psychological terms, cardinal personalities often score high in initiative and agency. They're the ones who say, if no one else will do it, I will. What is the historical importance of cardinal energy? Astrologers throughout history believed cardinal signs were connected with major historical turning points. Ancient astrologers in both Greek and Roman traditions linked Aries energy to warriors, founders, and pioneers. One reason is that Aries season begins near the spring equinox. historically tied to rebirth and new beginnings. This astronomical event is called the March equinox. For ancient civilizations, it symbolized renewal of sunlight, beginning of agricultural cycles, start of military campaigns. So Aries became associated with bold action and forward momentum naturally. Now, why are April 7th Aries often termed trailblazers? Well, that's because April 7th falls in the heart of Aries season, and these individuals often embody the cardinal archetype strongly. So, this is why many people born on this day start companies, launch creative products, pioneer new ideas, and dominate competitive fields. They are rarely comfortable following the crowd. They would rather create than walk it. Now, what is the shadow side of this cardinal energy? Well, the same energy that makes cardinal signs powerful can also create challenges. So, April 7th Aries may sometimes struggle with impatience with slower people, starting projects but not finishing them, and frustration when they feel blocked. Because their instinct is always saying, move forward, act, begin something new. Learning patience and long term follow through is often their greatest life lesson. Tell me about it. The cardinal archetype is the cosmic spark of creation. Without cardinal signs, nothing would start, revolutions would never ignite, and innovations would never happen. And people born on April 7th carry this ancient energy strongly. They are the personalities who step forward and say, let's begin. Okay, so the April 7th personality visionary, fire. People born on April 7th tend to possess three powerful personality engines. One is relentless drive. Once they set a goal, they rarely give up. They prefer creating their own path rather than following someone else's rules. And these individuals often become entrepreneurs, creatives, innovators, and leaders in competitive environments. They possess creative intelligence. This allows April 7th Aries to stand out for their inventive thinking and their mental agility. Their minds work quickly, allowing them to generate ideas rapidly, solve complex problems, and strategize under pressure. This creativity often makes them charismatic and fascinating conversationalists. They also have magnetic presence. Many people born on this day possess a natural charm that attracts others. They often come across as charismatic, expressive, and socially confident. People are drawn to their vibrant energy and enthusiasm. But there is a shadow side of the April 7th Aries. Now, every powerful personality has a shadow, no doubt. For April 7th, this can include impatience, emotional guardedness, competitive, competitive, competitiveness, and stubbornness. Their intense drive can sometimes lead to impulsive decisions or conflicts with authority. Because they are naturally dominant personalities, others may occasionally perceive them as controlling, blunt, and overly competitive. But when balanced, these traits become leadership strengths rather than weakness. Okay, now, here's a little known psychological trait of this birthday. Despite their fiery Aries nature, April 7th individuals, are often deeply sensitive internally. Under the confident surface, they can be introspective, intuitive, and emotionally perceptive. Many develop strong instincts about people and timing, helping them succeed in leadership roles. This inner awareness is one reason that April 7th Aries often become creative or philosophical thinkers. So let's dive into the mystical meaning of the number 7. This birthday carries the powerful numerical vibration of 7, right? In numerology, the number 7 represents spiritual insight, deep thinking, wisdom, and cosmic curiosity. This actually really adds a fascinating layer to the Aries personality. Now, instead of being purely impulsive, April 7th individuals may feel drawn to philosophy, science, puzzles, and spiritual exploration. Not every April 7th individuals, though, because I will go ahead and tell you that I despise science and puzzles, but philosophy and spiritual exploration I'm good for. But this means that they often ask bigger questions about life and purpose, okay? So it does make sense a little bit. Okay, so let's dive into some famous people born on April 7th, okay? Because there are many highly influential people who share this birthday. So Russell Crowe, an Academy Award winning actor, and he's also known for films like Gladiator, okay? Jackie Chan, legendary martial artist and action star famous for performing his own stunts. We all know him. Francis Ford Coppola, director of cinematic masterpieces such as the Godfather trilogy. Billie Holiday, one of the most influential jazz singers in history. Tony Dorsett, Hall of Fame running back and Super Bowl champion. And Bobby Bear, country music legend with decades of influence. Now, this is not to say that there aren't more people born on this day who have done something worth noting, right? It just means that they are among the more noted ones, okay? And like they said, April 7th Aries are innovators. They're the people who start it. So it makes sense, doesn't it? Okay, so astrologers often note unusual patterns among April 7th individuals, many becoming pioneers in their industries. They frequently excel in performance and leadership roles, a surprising number of risk takers or innovators. And this may relate to the blend of Aries initiative and the number 7 introspection. Together, this produces personalities who both act and reflect. And from what we've learned so far, it's not really a surprise that these are what you would call strange coincidences about April 7th birthdays, right? Okay, so let's talk about love and relationships for April 7th Aries, okay? They often seek partners who stimulate their mind, match their passion, and respect their independence. They value honesty above everything. However, because they can be emotionally guarded, they may take longer to fully trust somebody. Once committed, though, they tend to be deeply loyal partners. So let's talk about how people born on this date thrive in careers requiring initiative and creativity. Common career paths include entertainment, entrepreneurship, arts and design, law, athletics, academia, and science or research. Their combination of intuition and ambition often pushes them towards leadership roles, and that does make sense, doesn't it? And I feel like when you see somebody of this nature, whatever job they do have, it's going to be where they're going to do what their best. They're not going to let things slide, and if they do, they're going to make sure that they limit how often that happens. When we look at April 7th Aries through the lens of modern astrology, we usually talk about personality traits such as leadership and independence. But if we were to travel back to the Middle Ages, astrologers interpreted birthdays very differently. Okay. Medieval astrologers believed that every degree of the zodiac carried symbolic images, spiritual meanings, and even mystical destinies. And these works um, blended Greek, Persian, and Arabic astrology into symbolic systems used throughout medieval Europe. So, what were those works? The Picatrix, the Liber Hermetis, and the Book of the 36 Decans. Now, to medieval astrologers, Aries wasn't just a personality sign, it represented the primal spark of life and cosmic ignition. So they connected Aries with warriors, conquerors, beginning of kingdoms, military campaigns. This association existed because Aries season begins near the spring equinox, the astronomical turning point known today as the March equinox. In medieval Europe, this moment symbolized rebirth of the earth, return of sunlight, the traditional season for warfare and exploration. Because of the symbolism, people born in the early Aries were sometimes described as born under the banner of Mars. Now, the planetary influence of Mars. In medieval astrology, Aries was ruled by the planet Mars, but Mars was interpreted differently than in modern astrology. So medieval scholars believed Mars represented courage in battle, destructive fire, defense of kingdoms, and daring ambition. A strong Mars placement was believed to produce individuals who might become generals, knights, political leaders, and explorers. Some medieval astrologers even warned that strong Aries births could produce people destined for conflict or heroic struggles. And medieval astrology divided each zodiac sign into three sections called decans. April 7th falls within the second Aries decan. In ancient and medieval decan imagery, this section was sometimes symbolized by a crowned figure holding weapons, a warrior preparing for battle, a noble leader commanding others. These images appear in manuscripts related to the 36 decan system, which influenced both European and Arabic astrology. This decan specifically was associated with people who possessed courage, authority, and intense ambition. Medieval astrologers believed these individuals could rise suddenly in power. Another rare system used by medieval astrologers involved symbolic meanings for individual zodiac degrees. Early degrees of Aries were sometimes described in manuscripts as representing the forging of a sword, a torch being lit, a ruler claiming authority. Symbolically, this meant people born in this part of Aries were believed to carry the energy of ignition and leadership. They were thought to initiate events that changed history. Now, there are several influential astrologers who helped shape these interpretations. Okay, you have Abu Mashar al-Balkhi. He was a Persian astrologer whose writings shaped medieval European astrology. He emphasized the connection between planetary alignments and world events. Guido Bonatti, one of the most famous astrologers of the Middle Ages, he advised political leaders and wrote extensively about Mars-ruled signs like Aries. And William Lilly, a later astrologer influenced by medieval traditions, he described Aries' energy as bold, fierce, and commanding. Now, some medieval astrologers believed that strong Aries births indicated individuals who might lead armies, influence rulers, start new ventures, and ignite social change. In other words, they believed Aries births often appeared during periods of upheaval or transformation. Now, whether symbolic or not, many famous Aries throughout history have indeed been pioneers and revolutionaries. Interesting, huh? Now, people often assume they understand an Aries bold, impulsive, competitive. But people born on April 7th carry some hidden, surprising traits that make them very different from the typical Aries stereotype. So let's dive into those 7 secrets that many astrologers believe make April 7th Aries unique. So, secret number 1 is they're strategists, not just fighters. Most Aries are known for charging into situations like warriors, but April 7th Aries have something extra strategic thinking. Instead of rushing blindly into challenges, many prefer to plan several moves ahead, analyze the situation, and strike at the perfect moment. This combination of bold action and thoughtful planning can make them extremely effective leaders, obviously. Secret 2, they often have a hidden philosophical side. Because this birthday carries the mystical vibration of the number 7, which we will continue to discuss, many April 7th Aries feel drawn deeper to questions about life. They may secretly love things like philosophy, spirituality, psychology, and cosmic mysteries. So while they appear fiery and energetic on the outside, inside they may be quietly analyzing the universe, and you'll never know. Secret 3, they can read people shockingly well. One of the lesser known traits of April 7th Aries is intuitive social intelligence. Many develop an ability to read body language, detect hidden motives, and sense emotional shifts in a room. This instinct can make them extremely skilled at leadership, negotiation, performance. Some even describe them as almost psychic about human behavior. All right, secret number 4, which is not really a secret, but we're going to, do it. They hate being controlled. Aries already values independence, but April 7th individuals often feel this very strongly. We do. They usually struggle in environments where they feel micromanaged, restricted, and forced into rigid rules. Because of this, many eventually gravitate towards careers where they can create their own path. Entrepreneurship, creative industries, and leadership roles often attract them. Secret number 5, they are quiet observers more often than not. This surprises many people, even though it probably shouldn't. Despite their bold Aries reputation, April 7th individuals often spend time silently studying people and situations. This may appear have them appear social and confident, but internally they're often watching, analyze, analyzing, and learning. And this makes them excellent problem solvers. Season 6. Secret 6. Their temper is rare, but explosive. April 7th Aries are not always quick tempered. In fact, many are surprisingly patient, but when their limits are crossed, the reaction can be intense, okay? Because their ruling planet is Mars, the symbol of passion and battle, anger tends to arrive suddenly and powerfully. The good news, they usually calm down once the emotional storm passes. And Secret 7, they often become unexpected trailblazers, which should not be a secret at all. Many April 7th individuals eventually end up doing something unusual with their lives. So this could include launching bold projects, creating original ideas, building successful careers, influencing others in surprising ways. It's not always planned, but their mix of confidence, curiosity, and courage often pushes them towards paths others might be too afraid to try. Now, people born on April 7th aren't just fiery Aries personalities, right? They are a fascinating combination of courage, intellect, intuition, and ambition, which means they often live lives in anything but ordinary ways, right? And the deeper you explore this birthday, the more mysteries you uncover. If you zoom out and look at the sky on April 7th, something fascinating is happening. The sun is blazing through the fiery constellation of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the place where the entire astrological cycle begins. And in ancient traditions, Aries wasn't just another zodiac sign. It represented the moment creation began, the spark of life, the first flame of action, the courage to move forward into the unknown. So, when someone is born on April 7th, astrologers often say they carry the energy of cosmic ignition. They are not just participants in life, they are often the ones who start things. And the ruling planet of Aries is the red planet Mars. So, across ancient cultures, Mars symbolized warriors, passion, courage, fearless ambition. Astrologers believed people born under strong Mars influence often felt an inner push towards achievement, exploration, and taking risks others would avoid. It's the energy that says move forward even if the path doesn't exist yet. And so April 7th falls deep in Aries season, which begins near the astrological turning point called the March equinox. This moment was sacred to many ancient civilizations because it marked the return of light, the rebirth of nature, the beginning of a new yearly cycle, right? In other words, the universe itself was starting over. And because of this timing, ancient astrologers often believed Aries' birth symbolized initiators of new eras. Which makes a lot of sense, does it not? In mythological astrology, Aries is often connected to the archetype of the Pathfinder, which would make a head, right? They're the person who walks ahead of the crowd, they're the one who explores the unknown first. So, people born on April 7th often display this archetype through their bold life decisions, creative breakthroughs, their competitive ambition, and their innovative thinking. They may not always realize it, but their lives frequently involve pushing boundaries. And it also carries the symbolism of the number 7, and that's one of the most mystical numbers in history. Across cultures, 7 represents cosmic order, wisdom, knowledge, and introspection. Now, you see this number everywhere, even if you don't think about it. In the 7 colors of the rainbow, in 7 classical planets known to ancient astronomers, in the 7 notes in the musical scale. This means April 7th Aries often combine two powerful forces, Aries action and the number 7 reflection. The result, a personality that is both bold and thoughtful. Now, astrologers sometimes noticed an interesting pattern with April 7th births. Their lives often included dramatic turning points. Now, there would be moments where they suddenly changed careers, moved to new places, reinvented themselves, and took unexpected risks. It's almost as if they repeatedly were called to begin new chapters. Now, if the Zodiac were a story, okay, Aries would be the opening chapter. That is the moment the hero steps on to the path. And people born on April 7th often embody that moment. They carry the energy of beginnings, of courage, of transformation, which means that their cosmic role is often simple but very powerful. It's not just to live life, it's to ignite it. Based on everything else we've learned, though, is anybody surprised? So, if you were born on April 7th, or if someone you love was, remember this. Some people follow the story of the world, but the April 7th Aries, they help write the first chapter more times than not. To medieval astrologers, being born in Aries, especially in early April, meant carrying the archetype of the cosmic initiator. Not just a bold someone, but someone destined to spark events that move the world forward. In the language of medieval astrology, Aries births were the torch-bearers of destiny. People born on April 7th are a fascinating blend of warrior, strategist, and philosopher. They carry the bold spirit of Aries, but also the depth of the mystical number 7. That rare combination creates individuals capable of both conquering the world and understanding it. And that brings us to the end of today's journey into the mystery of April 7th. A birthday that lives right in the heart of the fiery Aries, the sign of beginnings, courage, and unstoppable forward motion. Throughout this bonus episode, we've explored what makes April 7th Aries so fascinating. We've covered the cardinal energy that drives Aries to start movements and ignite change. We've looked at the fiery influence of Mars, the planet of passion and bold action. We've explored the mystical symbolism of the number 7, the number of wisdom, curiosity, and deeper understanding. And along the way, we discovered something surprising. April 7th Aries aren't just warriors. They're often strategists, observers, and visionaries. They carry a combination that is rare of Aries courage, analytical depth, intuitive insight, and the drive to begin new chapters in life. From ancient astrologers who believed Aries births ignited historical turning points, to modern interpretations that highlight leadership and innovation, one theme keeps appearing again and again. April 7th personalities rarely live a quiet, ordinary story. Instead, their lives often revolve around starting something new, an idea, a movement, a career, or sometimes an entirely new direction. In many ways, that is the true symbolism of Aries, the spark that begins the fire. So, we have to remember that some people are meant to follow the path, but Aries, they are brave enough to create the path first. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss where our journey takes us next. Until next time, keep looking up. And that brings us to the end of this special bonus episode, Buttercups. If you made it all the way here, congratulations! You've officially explored one of the hidden corners of this podcast. These bonus episodes are where we get to wander a little deeper, ask the strange questions that we're all wondering, and uncover the details most people never get to hear about. I hope you enjoyed this extra dive into today's topic and maybe discovered something new, surprising, or a little mysterious, and maybe something that said, wait, what? If you liked this bonus episode, be sure to follow the podcast, share it with a fellow curious mind, and keep the conversation flowing. And remember, sometimes the most interesting stories are the ones hidden between the pages. Until next time, stay curious, Buttercups, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next episode. Or maybe the next secret bonus drop.